Hey everybody, what's happening? Son of a Silver Stacker here. In today's numismatic news and information for the 25th day of January 2021, we have two stories that I'd like to share with you today. Number one, it's a follow-up about a story we did about a month ago, and it was about how a bill in South Carolina is going to provide that gold and silver coins minted either foreign or domestically shall be legal tender in South Carolina, and that both parties actually have to agree upon the usage of those gold or silver coins for tender. So it's been introduced, it's in committee, it needs to pass the House. Then once it does that, it needs to hit the Senate, where they may add or subtract something there. And then when it goes, if they add or subtract, it goes back to here, then they have to ratify it, pass it, then they'll go send it here. So it's working its way through. They might be using gold and silver coins in South Carolina for legal tender, agreed upon by both parties. Now, there's another story I'd like to share with you. It's very similar to that. And this is by FX Street, and that's dated January 22, 2021. It says here, Idaho legislators aim to protect state funds with gold and silver. Okay, sounds fun. Now this is probably some biased reporting, and there's some adjectives used here that might show that glaring bias, but that's okay. We're just doing this to understand what they're going to be doing in Idaho, at least what they're attempting to do. It says here the recent explosion of money printing and debt-funded spending by the U.S. in response to the COVID-19 pandemic has sparked a renewed interest in the key role gold and silver play in hedging against systemic risks. That's why a group of Idaho legislators are working to secure a role for the monetary metals in hedging the gem state's government's reserves. Introduced by Representative Ron Nate of Rexburg and Senator Steve Vick of Dalton Gardens, House Bill 7 would permit, but not require, the state treasurer to hold some portion of the state funds in physical gold and silver to help secure state assets against the risk of inflation and financial turmoil, and or to create, or rather achieve capital gains as measured in Federal Reserve notes. Wow, as measured in dollars, right? It says here the Idaho treasurer is currently handcuffed when it comes to investment choices. State statutes provide extremely limited options for holding, managing, and investing Idaho's idle monies, which currently amount to several $billions. Imagine if these guys got into the precious metals game, because it does say they're handcuffed and they're not able to buy gold and silver with their idle monies. But if a big player came in with billions of dollars buying up gold and silver, could you imagine what would happen to the precious metals market? Now think even bigger. What if this happens to more states? This is just one state with billions of dollars. What if all states get on board with this, buying gold and silver to hedge against pernicious inflation, right? That could really start driving the price of those precious metals towards the sky high prices. Not only that, but think of all the other like unions and stuff that aren't able to buy precious metals and keep it somewhere. They have to buy ETFs and such. But anyway, it says here, as a result, Idaho's reserves are invested almost exclusively in low-yielding debt papers such as corporate bonds, tax anticipation notes, municipal bonds. Those aren't that bad. Bonds are good. Repurchase agreements, CDs, treasuries, and money market funds. Some refer to these instruments as return-free risk. So easy money. Assured guaranteed money. It says here these debt holdings appear to have low volatility, but they carry other risks, not the least of which is pernicious inflation and the steady erosion in real value of principal, coupled with interest rates that are negative in real terms, which means negative interest rates means they're going to charge you to keep your money in the bank. Ouch. Nice. Which a lot of people already are experiencing. Those fees you get charged. It's horrible. Anyway, it says here an allocation to gold and silver provides a hedge against inflation, debt default risks, stock market declines, and volatility, and it historically increases overall returns. Gold and silver do not have the default or loss of purchasing power risks that bonds or other debt instruments carry. And it says here, Idaho House Bill 7 simply adds the authority to hold physical gold and silver directly, and in a manner that does not assume the counterparty and default risks involved with other state holdings. Okay. Meanwhile, H7 does not grant any authority to buy stocks, futures, contracts, or other gold and silver derivatives. Thank goodness. Just physical. Just get the physical. Something to be learned there. The authority is, because it's yours, the authority is confined to physical gold and silver, directly owned by the state and stored nearby in a secure bailment. See, that's smart. That's what you want. It says here, protecting state funds with sound money, a growing trend. That's right. It's a growing trend, not just with individuals, but governments as well. Local governments, state governments, because federal governments are already doing the hoarding. We already know that, but it's the local municipalities and governments that probably should do that as well. It says here a few other forward-thinking states are examining ways to implement a modest allocation of state funds to gold and silver. The Texas Teacher Retirement Fund owns close to $1 billion in physical gold. Recently, the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund, currently valued at more than $15 billion, approved a 5% allocation to the yellow metal. So people are getting in on it because they know all of this money printing can't be good for the value of their currently held dollars. It says this year South Carolina will consider the feasibility and efficacy of an in-state depository to securely store gold, silver, and other metals for the state's reserves and other investments, as well as using gold and silver coins as a legal tender. It says here, in 2019, Wyoming considered legislation to affirm the treasurer's ability to invest reserve, trust, and pension funds in gold and silver. Wyoming is expected to consider this measure again in 2021. And here we are. It says here, the monetary metals can provide states with a meaningful way of hedging taxpayer funds against debt default risks, stock market declines, the federal policy of perpetual Federal Reserve note devaluation, and a gold allocation that has historically boosted overall investment returns while also reducing volatility. It says here, an allocation to physical gold and silver fits squarely within the objective of protecting state funds against financial risks and would logically be included on any list of safe investment holdings. The Sound Money Defense League supports this measure and looks forward to working with the Idaho legislators to ensure that the state treasurer has the authority to invest state funds in sound money. Sound money, they're calling sound money gold and silver. So that's that story. So that's pretty interesting. A lot more local governments are getting into the gold and silver play. Not saying they're gold bugs and silver stackers yet, but you never know. So this next story I'd like to get to you, and I know we're running short on time soon, but it has to do with the 2021 circulating coins. I know it's almost February here, and I haven't seen any new 2021 circulating coins yet, particularly on eBay. And if you do see them on eBay, it's basically one person selling them all. So here's a 200 rolls here, $6.50, 2 bids, almost $6 in shipping. 5 rolls here for $50. It's $10 a roll. And then there's 2 rolls here for $25, and it's basically all the same person. There aren't many options for 2021 Lincoln cents right now. There's just not, and we're almost in February. We're maybe a week from today away from February. So that's the Lincoln cents. I'm going to go here to Jefferson nickels. 2021. There's none. Absolutely not one. 2021 Jefferson nickel, P or D. Then I went over to the 2021 Roosevelt dime. Noticed that the proofs are all there, and they're even graded now. There's another proof. But look at this. Boom, boom, boom. All the same seller. Just like it was for the Lincoln cents. And these are all coming from either Georgia or Louisiana, someplace in the South. And that's it. There's those 3, and it's the same seller. Then I went over here to the quarter, and there's 1 quarter that's not a proof that's available online that's not a pre-sale or a pre-order. And it's from the Russian Federation, and it looks very shiny. But that's it. There's the proofs that have been graded already from the birth set and the other set there, but there's not really anything that's circulations. It's not a pre-order. So there you have it. Is there another coin shortage again this year? Because there's not really too much circulating coins going on on eBay right now, and the ones that are selling on eBay they're kind of expensive. In fact, they're very expensive. If you were able to get a hold of some of those circulating coins, it might be um, very lucrative to sell those on eBay right now. Wow. Good luck with that. If you do find any, let me know. I'd like to find out if we're in another coin shortage or what is going on, because there's not much online, and there's really not much. Okay, so there's not much listings on eBay for these coins. There's not much in the news of these coins of whether they're out. So it's kind of hush hush this year. And that's okay, because that'll keep our ears to the ground. And I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you like what you hear and see, subscribe to the channel. It's free. And don't forget to hit that bell. That way you'll be notified every time I drop a new video. And you can put in, you can watch the video first before anybody does. So that's really cool. Anyway, son of a silver stacker, over and out.